So the Beta's got me hitting the hard stuff tonight. I brought the frame inside to clean it up, and I did not realize how filthy it is. If I had known, I would have gotten it out yesterday when it was 75, because now it's like 35. And there is no chance of me getting out in the driveway and working on this thing in the cold, washing it in the cold. So I'm going to try to scrub it out a little bit tonight. Frame looks like it's in decent shape. Most of the paint's still there, except for these steering stops. And I don't know what to make of these. These welds are like insanely ugly, but it also doesn't look like they've been painted. They have paint on them, so I don't know if someone added those things and then painted around them and did such a good job of painting that you can't tell. I can't tell, or if that was factory welds. I just don't understand how they could be that ugly. But one of the things that attracted me to this bike is that it's got a full dual sport setup. It's got a horn, it's got wiring for a headlight, it's got wiring for a brake light. Maybe even turn signals. I think the handlebar switch has a turn signal lever on it. I don't know if it's actually got the wires for it, but I'm pretty sure that's for a brake light, at least. It doesn't have a brake light on it, but it does have a headlight. That counts for something, just having a lighting coil, so that something can be made road legal. This is the filler for the coolant. We got a measuring line here to see how much coolant's in there. None of the other water-cooled bikes I have pay any attention to that. I wonder if cooling was a problem on these. Cap on the cooling reservoir has at the top 1.1. I'm guessing that's 1.1 liters. I think we determined earlier that the radiator holds about 4/10 of a liter. So this holds, between this and the engine, would be 7/10. Man, how is this stuff so crazy? Boy, this ground wire is really garbage. I don't know if you can see that, but like every time I touch it, insulation just crumbles off of it. And it's all green from corrosion. That sound is the insulation hitting the paper down there. It's just flaking right off. And it's very greenish in color. I need to replace that ground wire. And kind of hoping not to have to pull that cover off, but I guess that's going to have to happen. It'll make it a lot cleaner if I do. Oh boy. So I thought this was like just a cover, but it is the coil. It's Ducati branded, just like the flywheel. It is the coil, and this ground wire is like part of it. Man, and it's so nasty. I can't make out any of this colors. Blanco, white, Rosso, red, Verde, green, and stop. That's stop in Italian. Mamma mia. Luckily, Italian is like really close to Spanish, which I know almost none of. But hey, Verde is Verde, right?
Verde! You're good at speaking Spanish!
And probably do what I do, and I don't care.
I do. I share my sense of urgency.
Obviously, the correct thing to do here would be to take all these wires and stuff off, but that's the hardest stuff to figure out how to put back on and get it tidied up when you take a bike apart. I'm not restoring this thing, I'm just trying to get it running again.
How's
was really close. His name was Walker.
No, I meant that kid.
Every time I'm with Grandma, I have to eat like 50% less food than I would normally eat. And I want to live up to Disney. I said, oh, I got some gnocchis. And she's like, isn't that what you're making the other day? And I was like, that was mochi, Mom.
God, you're so stupid. When they turned the water back on, they opened up a fire hydrant and it ran for like 2 hours and everybody left for like 2 hours while that fire hydrant just hosed water into his yard. Jump into Jehoshaphat, that's a tight fit. Get in there. Tight fit. Come on. Yeah. God, there's still dirt in there. There you are. Son of a... Man, that was harder than it needed to be. I doubt it's even possible to get these things too tight since they've got the heim joints in there. Yeah, it's pretty tight. All right. All right. Yeah. Not sure if that's where those wires go. Get out of the way. God dang it. Huh. I just went right in there. There is no doubt this engine will be out of the frame again before it runs. You gotta start somewhere. Just don't work on that many bikes that have 11mm nuts and bolts. Okay. You'd think this is my first time. By the way, there's still corrosion coming out of this stuff. Even after all that cleaning, still managing to knock out little traces of dust out of these hoses and radiator, everything. Okay, so all right. This is what I was saying. I wonder if I had the hose on backwards because I do have it on backwards. Gosh, it doesn't seem like that's enough length. I think I put it on backwards. Gosh. Yep, we put it on backwards. Socket inside. got heavy when I put that engine in there. Alright. So the adjustment does go at the top. Sure doesn't hurt to check, especially after the fiasco I had with the radiator hose earlier. Alright. I guess subframe is next. Alright. Let's see if we can get the subframe up on this. Hey. Wow. Alright, that's alright pain, I guess. Just run a tap through those first. I think I'm going to run a tap through these. Alright. Ooh, that's a lot of metal coming out of there. Damn. Ah, quiet you. Okay. Less metal, more dirt. A lot of dirt. Alright, more dirt than metal on that one. That's good. Okay. Hey, what'd I say? Stretched while I had it off. Must be the one I didn't clean all the way through. Man, it seems like every part on this thing is filthy. I don't know how much of it was dirty when I got it, or how much this dirt accumulated in the 5 years that it's been sitting around waiting for me to do something with it. We're really a lot more interested in getting this running than making it a beautiful bike. But it is nice to work with clean parts. I'm sure they look better on camera. Better than my bald head. I don't know if that made it on camera or not. I'll probably cut this part of the sound out anyway, put in some funky music. It's pretty much the epitome of being a cheap ass reusing your paper towels. Alright, air filter actually still looks really nice. Alright, I screwed this up. I put the intake boot on backwards. I was trying to test fit the air box and it didn't line up with anything. And now, okay, well, get the idea. Alright, well, these things happen when you don't know what you're doing. So, there's no doubt a lot of this is going to come apart more than once. Hopefully I don't have to take a shock out to get the airbox in. I just wanted to get some kind of assembly done tonight. Without having to brave the cold and go find some more parts and then have to bring them in and clean them. There it goes there. Oh man, that thing. Some of this bike is pretty well packaged. This airbox fits in there really nice, except it's got this little nub on the end. I'm not sure. Got any holes in it. I'm not sure why it's even there.
Did you take the heater out of the koi pond?
No?
What the hell?
Did you? What is it? Is it? Hey,
The heater's not in the toy pond.
is it missing?
No, it's like out, like off to the side.
Is it still warm?
No.
Something's getting into that thing then.
It's like pulled far enough away that like I don't think an animal could have done it. But come look at it when you get the chance.
All right. All right. So there's like a raccoon or something getting into the koi pond. Something had dragged the pump out of the pond the other day. All right. I'm gonna make a half-hearted attempt at cleaning up this exhaust header. Looks like it's actually still got some varnish on it. By half-hearted, I mean I should at least get these spider webs off of it. It's got so much carbon inside. And spider webs. So many spider webs. Alright, well, that doesn't even look a little bit better, but this is most of the rest of the hard parts for the Beta. I'm going to go ahead and put the forks on the bike without over cleaning them. The reason that I left everything together, the headlight and the handlebars and the forks and the front wheel and all that, was for efficiency in removing it, but also to make sure I knew how to put them back together. Oh, thank you so much, Heater. I do have to rebuild these bearings, rather clean these bearings out. Man, I'm glad I left this alone, though. How else would you know how this goes? The top. Gross. Top bearing has a little bit of rust and a lot of, it's like white lithium grease. Just gonna spray all that out. It's in good shape. Maybe the bottom bearing is not going to come off easy. I'm not going to force it. It's got a rubber gasket where it goes into the stem. That's interesting. I'm not seeing that on the other bike. It has one on the top too. It's a little bit crunchy. It's not too bad. Wow. That's disgusting. Too. At least they're not flat spotted. Easy. Alright, so we have taper bearing, washer, big old aluminum washer with a gasket around the outside. I think I'm going to put the brake cleaner on that. This is a nut. Pretty sure it goes like that. Who knows? That is definitely how it goes. And the bolt screws into the stem. Before I screw up and forget, and throw a tie down.
We're putting it on your customer app.
Wow, I'll be down. It is so dark over here. Someday I gotta get a light and a better camera placement. This is the lower steering stem. I need more grease. Lower steering stem tapered bearing. It's in really good shape. Very tight. This is interesting. This it's got these washers that go inside the steering stem with O-rings around them. I'm just going to put a tiny bit of, well, it's more than a tiny bit, but I'm going to put a little bit of grease on that O-ring just to get it shiny again. Alright, so if this is a big front wheel bearing on a car, I'd pack a bunch of grease in here and press it between my palms so that it squirted grease out through the rollers, but this is a very small tapered bearing, and it's not been particularly hard to get grease down into it. I don't want to spend all night getting grease off my hands. Alright, back to business. Alright, that's it for this video. Thanks for making it this far. Next time we're going to make some parts and make some mistakes. Please like, subscribe, comment, buy merch. There's no merch.